I'm bigcal, and welcome back, temporarily, to my world. I'm still technically on my hiatus, but I couldn't not do a video on this. As you'll have seen from the video title, I went to the retro gaming market in Doncaster yesterday. And, I just had to do a video at least showing my pickups for it. Not really bothered about going on camera at the moment, so I'm basically doing an Ashen style video, except it's my bed and not a sofa. So let's just get started and I'll show you what I got. So I went to Doncaster yesterday, it was March 3rd, the retro gaming market. Again, it's the third or fourth time I've been, and I went with a short list of 5 items I was hoping to get hold of. Only managed to get hold of 3 of them, but very happy with the 3 that I did indeed get. I think it was 3 anyway. The first one was, boom, a Sega Game Gear. Let's get that right on camera. I've been after one of these since last year, and I was waiting to come across basically one for the right price that had been recapped. That's had the capacitors changed because they were low quality in the original and they tend to die out and then cause the sound to break on the systems and the video to go all terrible. So I went in, I had the early bird ticket, so I got in an hour before most other people. It was just limited to 500, it was nice and quiet. And as soon as I went in, it's like, okay, I'm not going to look at games or anything, just going to try and find a Game Gear. Came across one, £50 in a bundle, came with the carry case and a few games, but it hadn't been recapped, so I had to pass that one up. Second one I found, this one here, £40, recapped, snatched it up straight away, which is good because I only saw maybe 2 or 3 more Game Gears at the place and they were all boxed, so even if they'd been recapped or not, they were all out of the price range I was willing to pay because I don't really care about a box. So, finally got a Game Gear. I didn't buy any games for it while I was there, but I do already have a bunch. But I'm going to save those for a later video. One thing I did get for it though was Tasmania. And this is for the Sega Master System. The reason being is, as well as already owning a bunch of games, excuse the loud noise, I also own the Master Converter, or the Game Master. Yeah, there it is. Basically a Master System converter, slots in nicely there into the back, and then put the game in, and you can play Master System games. Oh, hello, there's me. You can play the Master System games on the Game Gear, and yes, it does work rather nicely. The only thing is, the adapter that I have for this, that I already had, is a bit dodgy. The wiring's a bit dodgy in it, and you have to hold it in place, so it's not the best. So I'm going to look into getting another adapter. But yeah, very nice to have, finally, the Game Gear, and I now have access to the Master System library without having to buy a Master System, because I'm genuinely not interested in such a thing. So those were the first 2 items I got. Next was another one on my list, the second of the third thing. I wanted to get Pokemon Snap for the N64. There it is, all nice. I went in basically wanting to pay no more than £10 for it, and that's exactly what I paid, £10, and it's Pokemon Snap. I've played it on emulators before. It's a fun game, obviously it's like an on-rail shooter, but with Pokemon, instead of shooting them, you take pictures. So, nice addition to my N64 and Pokemon collection. And the third item that was on my list that I managed to get was Luigis Mansion for the Nintendo GameCube. Yes, I didn't own this yet. I played it back in the day when my brother had a GameCube. Obviously this was one of the launch titles. I'd never finished it back then. I've been after it for a while, but it kept going up in price. Like, I need to buy it before it goes up even further, and I kept not getting it for whatever reason. And I was unbelievably shocked by how much this was going for at the retro gaming market. £30. So many sellers were selling it for £30. In fact, I saw it either £30 or £28 was the cheapest out of all the sellers that had it, and there were quite a few copies of it. But I did finally manage to find it from one seller at £20, which is the price I was willing to pay, because that's pretty much how much it goes for usually and how much it's currently worth. £30 is extortionate, and anyone who sells it for that should feel ashamed of themselves. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion, can't wait to play it. Great ghost-busting style game, but with Luigi. Always really cool. Got a bit of hate back in the day because it wasn't a Mario game that came out with the system, but over the years people have like, yeah, who cares, we got Mario Sunshine, that was great. Luigi's Mansion, also a great game. Maybe shouldn't have been a launch title, but they needed something good for launch and Sunshine wasn't ready. So still a great game, and can't wait to really dig into it. So after that, the other two games on my list were F-Zero for the Super Nintendo. I only found one copy and it was £12, and I wasn't willing to pay £12 for it. The other game was Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, I believe it's called, for the DS, because it's the only English release that we got over here. Didn't see a single copy of it, so I was upset with that. What I did get though was, for the PSP, Popular Croix, or Croix, I can't really remember. It's an RPG game, very cool, got an interesting visual style. I got recommended it a few years ago and I finally actually just come across it. I've never really seen it anywhere before. Cost me £10, yep, £10, and that's pretty much what it goes for, sometimes a bit more, especially on eBay. So I was happy to pick it up for that price. Played it, I really like the art style, and it reminds me a little bit of Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky with the battle system, so that's a huge plus because that's one of my favourite games on the system. So happy to have another RPG in my collection. Next, and this is actually second to last, it doesn't seem like I bought a lot, but I got a lot of stuff I was very happy with, so I didn't see the point in spending more money just for the sake of it. But anyway, a PS1 game, and that is 40 Winks. I hadn't really heard of this game before until rather recently, because this was also supposed to come out on the N64, and the version got cancelled or whatever, and it never got released. But there's a Kickstarter currently still going, I believe, where they've got the original N64 source code and they are basically bringing it to the N64. So instead of backing the Kickstarter at $40, which works out about £29, to get a cart-only version of it on the N64, I figured I'll get the PS1 version, sod it. It's basically a 3D platformer, so that's definitely my style of game, and it only cost me £5. So a fiver on the PS1 or 30 quid for a cart-only on the N64, really a no-brainer for me. Lastly, a game I have been after for a while, but I've never really been willing to pay the price for it, and that is New Super Mario Bros. Wii! I did play this when it came out, but that was back when I had my Wii modded, so yeah, I never actually owned it. And I've been meaning to pick it up for the last few years, but again, it's one of those, I didn't want to pay the price for it, and it usually went for about £12 the last few years, and now it sort of shot up to about £15 most places. Saw this for the grand total of £10 yesterday, so as soon as I saw that price, I knew I had to have it. It's in good condition, and you know, comes with, it's really a heavy box because it comes with so much stuff. You got the manual, which is pretty thick, all things considering platform, a little quick guide, even has the unused Club Nintendo code thing. Then you got, you know, your safety things and a little booklet about the Wii. Yeah, so it kind of weighs a ton in there. But I was extraordinarily happy to get it for £10. Yeah, I haven't played it since it came out, so it's going to be all new to me again. I'm a big fan of the 2D platformers from Mario. I've got Super Mario Bros. U and the Luigi expansion on the Wii U. Played through that again rather recently, actually, so it'd be nice to go back to this first one and replay all the levels that I don't really remember. And, well, those were all my pickups. I spent a total of £97 while I was there. Which, looking at how many items I got, may seem like quite a bit, but again, £40 did go just on the Game Gear, and then, you know, £20 on Luigis Mansion, 10, 10, 10, 5 and 2 on those. So I got a couple of bit pricier items that I would normally go for. In the past, I've sort of been, I could spend £20 on one game, or I could buy 3 or 4 games for £20, but this time it's like, nope, going to get a handful at a pricier. So I was very happy with my pickups. I had a lot of fun at the retro gaming market. There's going to be 2 more this year in Doncaster in June and December. I'll be skipping the June one and just going to the December one, that way I can save up a bit more money. Early bird tickets, there was a bit of confusion with how they promoted it. Early bird tickets cost £4. You bought them online before, limited 500, and you got in at 10 AM, while everyone else who paid on the door £2 got in at 11. But there were some people showing up for 10 o'clock that didn't have an early bird ticket because they didn't know they needed one. But as long as they market it properly next time, it shouldn't be much of an issue, and I would highly recommend getting one, because the 500 people, it sounds like a lot still, 500, but in the size of the the place that it is, the room that it's in, and all the people that are there selling, 500 is kind of small, and you definitely get to look better at everything. There's not, mass hordes of people. You've got to try and squeeze in everywhere. So the first hour was lovely, and that's when I managed to get a couple of the bargains. If I hadn't have got the early bird ticket and went in for 11, I highly doubt the Game Gear would have still been there. Everything else I might have still gotten. Luigis Mansion I didn't get till I was leaving, so yeah. But yeah, the Game Gear might not have been there. So if you can get an early bird ticket for the next 2 that's coming up, definitely get one and go. I'll be going to the December one rather than the June, as I just mentioned. And for everyone else that went, hope you all had a good time. There was some issues with the weather, of course. There were a handful of sellers that couldn't make it. There was maybe less than 10 out of 190, so that was really good. And for people who couldn't make it due to the weather to go and buy, yeah, you've got 2 more coming up, one in June, one in December. The June one definitely won't be snowed in, so you'll be able to make it to that. So, thanks for watching. I'm Big Cal, and still not entirely sure when I'll be back fully, but I'm still active a little on Twitter, and I do occasionally post a few blog posts on bigcalsworld.co.uk. The next one that's coming up will be for WrestleMania. So thanks for watching this, and I'll see you again when I finally return.